Hey, what's up? I'm Colleen and welcome to my channel. I've never met a sparkle that I didn't like and a bullet that I did, because being mean is not cool. Awesome people are not mean, so be kind all the time. So welcome to another edition of Mythical, Unearthly, and Makeup. If you don't know what that is where I sit and I talk about anything that is paranormal, supernatural, mystical, anything in that realm, and I do my makeup at the same time because I love all that stuff and I love makeup, so what's better than combining them together? So hope everyone had a nice week and a nice weekend. In New York here, we got some snow and it's been really, really cold. But you know, it is winter, so it is what it is. For this edition of Mythical, Unearthly, and Makeup, I'm going to be talking about gnomes, because gnomes are just everywhere. I mean, they've been everywhere for years. Like, you just see them in garden decorations. They're decorative everywhere. I mean, even in the Sims games, they're just like very prominent. Gnomes are just like cute little decorations that you just put everywhere. But what are gnomes and where did they come from? So I thought it would be kind of interesting to talk about that. So I'm not going to do much more of an intro, and we're just going to get into talking about gnomes, and I'm going to do my makeup. So for clarification purposes, the version of gnomes that I'm going to talk about is like the more romanticized and modern version of gnomes, more like the garden gnomes that you see. But gnomes are actually very ancient and there's a lot of history on it, but I'm just going to focus more on like the folklore kind of gnomes that you more hear about for this video. So gnomes are a widespread species. They believed to originate from Scandinavia. Gnomes then later migrated to the lowlands about 1500 years ago. And gnomes consist of a different number of types. The most common gnome is the forest gnome, and the forest gnome very rarely comes into contact with humans. Then there are the garden gnomes, which live in old gardens, and they enjoy telling melancholy tales to other gnomes and animals. Then there are something called the dune gnomes, and they're slightly larger than their woodland brethren, and they often choose to wear remarkably drab clothing. House gnomes have the most knowledge of man, often speaking our language. It is from the house gnome families that gnome kings are chosen. There are also farm gnomes, and they're very similar to their house gnome brethren, except they dress in a more conservative manner. And then there are something called Siberian gnomes, and they've been more like interbred than the other gnomes, and they freely associate with trolls, and trolls are known enemies of gnomes. Siberian gnomes are actually bigger than the other gnomes, and they actually known to be a lot nastier than their other brethren. So they say to stay away from them, and you do not want to ever anger a Siberian gnome because they have quite the temper. And it says they actually delight in revenge. Gnomes tend to live in hilly meadows and rocky woodlands. If they live in the house, they often live in nooks and crannies or the supply room of the home, since the supply room stores the grains, beans, potatoes, and everything else the gnome would need during the winter months. Gnomes are usually 15 centimeters tall, but in some tales they can actually be up to 1 foot. And with their little caps on, they actually are a little taller because the cap has a little point on it, which I think is kind of cute. They're actually a bit pigeon-toed as well, but that actually helps them move around in the woods and stuff with the twigs and the roots and everything that grow up from the ground. Male gnomes usually wear a peaked red cap and blue, brown, or green pants, and either felt boots, birch shoes, or wooden clogs. And around their waist, they have a belt with a toolkit attached. They are fair-faced, but they have very rosy cheeks, and they have long beards usually that adorn their faces and often turn gray before the hair on their heads. Female gnomes wear gray or khaki clothing, which consists of a blouse and a skirt, and the skirt usually goes to their ankles. They also have black or gray knee socks and high shoes or slippers, and before marriage, the females don a green cap and her hair is usually down in braids. But after marriage, that disappears under a scarf, and the green cap is actually replaced by a more somber tone. Most gnomes are 7 times stronger than man and can run at speeds of 35 miles an hour, and they have eyesight better than a hawk. Gnomes absolutely love animals, And because of this, the forest animals are best friends of the gnomes. Forest animals will always help out a gnome whenever they need it. Gnomes are also known to be quite little practical jokers, and they've made quite the art form out of like playing jokes on humans and other gnomes. Gnomes also love gems and jewelry and are considered by many to be the best gem cutters and jewelers in existence. Male gnomes are guardians of the animal kingdom. They love all animals equally, except they do have a very strong aversion to cats, and that includes all cats, indoor cats, you know, like lions, anything in that species they do not like. They have been known to free wildlife from man's traps and for operating on farm animals whose owners have either neglected them or who can't afford a vet. Gnomes' enemies are mainly trolls and other beings who would try to destroy their home. Gnomes are normally peaceful beings, and they're usually vegetarians, with their main meals consisting of nuts, mushrooms, peas, beans, small potatoes, applesauce, fruits, berries, tubers, spices, vegetables, and preserves for dessert. Gnomes drink mead dew, which is fermented honey, fermented raspberries, and spiced gin as a nightcap. So that is it for this video. That is all I have for you on gnomes today. Let me know what you guys think of gnomes. Do you think they're real? Do you think there's little gnomes that live in your house and come out at night and work on things, clean up your garden, clean up your house, play little practical jokes? I love to know what you hear. Love to know what you guys think. I love the paranormal, and I love to know people's like takes and just different opinions about it. So anyway, my celestial cupcakes, that is it for this video. So if you liked this video, please feel free to give it a like. If you really like this video, please feel free to subscribe. If you want to do another one of those things, that's totally fine. I get it. But I still thank you so much for stopping by and spending this minute with me. I really appreciate it. I also still send you tons of happy thoughts and positive vibes your way just for stopping by. So thank you. As always, I will have everything that I'm wearing on my face, as well as my Twitter and Instagram handles listed below in case you'd like to follow me there. I post pictures of looks that I do not film, as well as pictures of my pets, and I think they are adorable. But of course, we are all biased when it comes to our fur babies, but oh well. So anyway, from one makeup lover to another, I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and remember, be you, do you, love you. Bye.